Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. I'm Stephanie Fisher. I'm a licensed counselor here in the state of Michigan, and I'm owner and operator of In Progress Counseling. We've talked about acceptance before, and we've talked about acceptance as a key part of healing before. I'm going to layer that again because it's such an interesting understanding how much energy we exert by trying to not let something be what it is. And so probably really 400 videos ago, we would have used the analogy of, like, let's say I have a water bucket here and I have a football sitting on top of it. And my energy goes towards pushing that football below the surface. I could probably do that for quite a while, but over time, I'm going to get pretty exhausted about it. And as soon as I take my hand away, the football bubbles right back up to the surface. It's buoyant. That's the property of the football. And if I don't acknowledge that's the property and I resist it, I keep pushing it under the surface to try to contain it, there's an actual energy expenditure that's happening. So what often happens in some people's stories with things like negative emotion, they don't want to feel a negative emotion, so they suppress it, or they deny it, they refute it, or they just get angry with themselves for having a negative emotion. And we've talked through, videos about what great signaling systems our emotions actually are. So let's say I'm even feeling a negative emotion around like jealousy or envy. Like, that's just good information. It's telling me where I'm at. It's allowing me to understand social comparison. It's identifying something that might be important to me. It's helping me understand that I am a mere mortal that likely always has work to do. But the negative emotion in and of itself is not a problem. It tells me something about myself, something about my context, something about myself within the context. When I try to stymie the emotion, I try to suppress it or get away from it, I'm using energy, and I'm using precious energy. So I'm not even dealing with what's true. I'm using energy to not have to deal with what's true. It's a double taxation that's happening. And so in therapy, we go towards that negative emotion again and again and again. And someone not wanting to go towards that negative emotion, now there's maybe anxiety about their anxiety, or there is anxiety about their OCD tendencies, or anxiety about whatever their healing journey is. That is a double taxation. That's an energy expenditure when you're already confronting something that's really difficult. And that just hard and fast internal dialogue of, I'm not supposed to struggle. I'm not supposed to have weakness. I'm not supposed to have issues. I'm supposed to always be put together. I'm not supposed to bother other people. That is such a taxation to us. That is such a taxation to our ability to heal, because we're spending so much time and energy resisting what's true. And so again, and quite frequently, I will talk about OCD. I am diagnosable from probably age 6. I have tendencies that, especially when I'm in seasons of transition, they bubble up to the surface, and then I have to deal with them. I go through a new transition. OCD is my signaling system. Something's going on. Hey, Steph, you need to either slow down or add in other supports, or just practice, deep breathing. It tells me what's happening inside of me. And so if I spent all this energy saying, I can't have OCD, I can't have OCD, I don't want OCD, I hate that I have OCD, that self-rejection, which uses energy, it's also me trying to push out something that's just true. My brain has organized that way. In some seasons of high distress, it bubbles up to the surface and it's my signaling system, and then I have to do something with that understanding. But me having OCD is not a problem, or me being diagnosed OCD, that's not a problem. But if I spend a lot of energy resisting that it's true, I now have 2 issues. Number 1, that self-rejection and that energy expenditure. And number 2, I still have OCD symptomology. It just is. When someone has a negative emotion, grief, anger, fear, frustration, overwhelm, annoyance, agitation, and they say, oh, I can't be frustrated or grieving or sad or annoyed or agitated. 2 times the system gets taxed. 1, you're already having that emotional experience, and 2, you're trying to suppress it or move away from it. Double taxation to the system is incredibly problematic when we are trying to heal some of the stuff that's moving around inside of us. And so the invitation today, as we lean towards it and we say, what if it's true? Steph, what if you just are going to be diagnosed OCD potentially for the remainder of your life? Now, I don't think that these intensity of symptoms is always actually going to be with me. I don't believe that. I believe very ardently in the work that I do, and I know that maturing over time happens and we become better capable at handling stress over time. But if I'm not allowing it to be in my story right now, there's a double taxation going on. So I have to say, Steph, what if it is here? It tells you something. That's where you're at right now. Will you allow that to be true? Because if not, not only are you not going to deal with it, you're also going to spend a lot of energy refusing to deal with it. And it's a double taxation to the system. What if it's just here? Can you learn to be okay with that?